Welcome to Absolute Comics right here at the Comic Story Podcast Network every Tuesday at about 5 p.m. Eastern. This is the show where I, Benny, also the guy who runs the Comic Story channel, and Sal, the guy who runs the Comic Pop channel, sit down and discuss all the latest news, comic books, and things that have happened in the world of comics. The world of comics. This show is brought to you by G Fuel. If you use the code COMICS at checkout, we would greatly appreciate that, and you can get yourself some G Fuel. Right now, my recommendation is not down here, but it's Shiny Splash. This one is pretty good, though, if I have to pick one off the table. It's a strawberry and banana. Also, today's episode is brought to you by Absolutely Marvel and DC, the channel that Sal and I have started jointly with two other friends to discuss all of your favorite TV shows, movies, and that's it. TV shows and movies. We talk about the theories, analysis, and Easter eggs. And the last sponsor is ourselves. Patreon. Patreon.com/comicpop and Patreon.com/comicstorian are the homes of this podcast nice and early. If you want to get early access to it, please consider going on over to our Patreons and signing up, or going to the G Fuel using the code COMICS, or just going and for free subscribing to Absolutely Marvel and DC. 3 ways to support this show and keep it going. And for everyone who watches, we really do appreciate you, and thank you so much. We're doing okay. We'll do that. Is that the Korean thing? Thank you.
No, it's the
seriously.
I was gonna say it's Wayne and Garth. It's just we're not worthy.
Oh yeah, it started back then. Yeah, it started back then.
It's not that old. They're shilling for Uber Eats. They're still around.
So how have you been, Sal? Let's have a little how's it going? Back and forth.
Yeah,
here.
let's do that.
Little fun banter.
Yeah, ho ho. It's all been good, man. Living the dream. How about you?
I'm doing good. Been working hard on our new projects, working hard on these podcasts. Been being epic.
Yeah. We should also mention that this show should be brought to you by a certain comic book release.
Right. Good. Why did I forget that? I got the honor to write 4 pages of the latest Bloodshot issue, which comes out on Wednesday, March 10th. Bloodshot issue 12. I got to write a book. Sal and I are working on another book, but right now that one is out, and I would appreciate you going to pick it up. I know we're asking for a lot from you guys, but this show's been on over a year now, Sal. I think we started this. Actually, you know what? I know for a fact because you and I just had the talk of how the show used to be filmed. And we realized it was pre-March.
Yeah,
he's been around
right.
a year now. This show, my goal with Absolute Comics, I'm putting it out now, Sal. My goal now, we go longer than the weekly poll.
Okay, all right.
Weekly poll went 5 years. We got 1 in the bank.
Okay, all right. 4 more years.
Now, I was thinking about this the other day because, and then we'll go into our topics here in a second, which is mostly going to be Infinite Frontier.
Right.
Did nothing come out today? I didn't get to look because I've been moving stuff.
No, nothing really exciting. I saw, Joker came out, I think, today.
Okay, we'll have to talk about that another time because I definitely didn't read
it. No, I'm good.
But I did, and this is a fun fact. Did you like that show Home Improvement as a kid?
I did, and I'm only now learning how bad it was, but I loved it, and I watched it as long as I could stand it. When the kids got too old, when they started wondering what to do with Mark, I was like, all right, I'm out. I don't care. Like when Jonathan Taylor
when he became
Thomas
the
blew
goth
up,
kid? I thought it was funny when he was the goth kid.
No, I was out. At that point, I'm like, okay, this show is not what it was. Or just get rid of them. They all moved away, or they do a time jump or something.
Right,
right. But marginalizing Mark or paying attention to how much you marginalized him, don't. Just get rid of him.
Okay. Well, the reason I bring this up is I was watching Last Man Standing the other day, which is Tim Allen's current show.
Yes.
And it officially is in its 9th season. Home Improvement went 8 seasons. His new show has exceeded his old show. And that made me realize, can Absolute Comics exceed the weekly poll?
Right? I mean, theoretically, yeah. We have plenty of days left ahead of us, so we'll spend at least one of them a week doing the show. I think that's possible.
I mean, now here's the second question, and I'll ask the chat. You guys can let us know in the chat and the YouTube comments, or you can let us know here in the Twitch. Do we count the total time, which was 5 years, or do we count up the episodes? Because like that last year, there was only like 3 episodes of the weekly poll.
Yeah, the last year really barely counts, but I think we should go with episodes. Amount of episodes, like amount of hours spent on the show, and not like the hours spent like traveling to, Seattle and doing the show.
Okay,
there and
okay.
stuff like that. Like just the shows.
Then I present a challenge. Where are those episodes even located? Like, where could you even watch the weekly poll?
You can listen to them on Apple Podcasts.
That's true. I was gonna say we need to know what the total hours was. So I'm putting this task out to the fan base. To go
find them.
To find the weekly poll and count the hours.
Yeah, I mean, like my channel has a couple of episodes. I think yours.
Well, it did get moved around
too.
a lot, which is why even though we have Absolutely Marvel and DC, I didn't want to move Absolute Comics. It just we'll leave it where it's located. It's not going to move because we did so much moving with the weekly poll.
Yeah. I have a ton of episodes on our channel from 2016 onwards, even more.
Yeah.
Wow.
Weren't you hosting it for the longest time? Because that was when the
algorithm
algorithm favored what things matched, and you had the longest episodes.
Yep, that's right.
Yep.
Yeah, it starts in 2016 and ends in 2017, I believe.
Yeah, and then it moved somewhere else, and I don't remember where. Because the channel that Absolute is on is not the weekly. No, it was. It came here.
It is.
It was here.
So it's on this. It's on the Absolute Comics
channel. Before I renamed it to
them.
Absolute Comics, Comic Story Podcast Network.
That's right. It's there. Wow. So there you go.
We've been doing this way too long.
Yeah.
Okay, chat. No, chat. Don't also count the poll. Just the weekly poll. The poll's a different show.
Poll's a different show. Good show. Not the same show.
And at any point that Tiffany wants to bring it back, we will do it again.
Yeah. We'll see.
Why? You're still in touch with Joel. Speaking of Joel, he finally reached out to me.
Did he really?
Yes.
Did he hear your challenge? He didn't tell me about it.
No, he didn't tell me about a challenge or anything. Actually, it was Natalie's tweet about her illness coming back. He realized he wanted to reach out. So I don't even know if he heard my challenge. But somebody reach out to Joel and tell him I want him on the show so we can chat with him again, old school style. We'll reminisce.
Right.
It'll be like a flashback episode.
Yeah. But getting back to our original topic, yes, Benny has written 4 pages of a Bloodshot story. I believe Juan Jose Rip did your art?
Yes.
From the Rye series, right?
Yes. No, he did
cool.
Amazing work, too.
Yeah, it looks good.
So, yes, if you guys want to help us out, please consider going to grab that book, because if a bunch of people buy that book, they'll give me and Sal more work.
That would be nice. I'd get some work. That'd be really cool.
I would get a job.
Yeah, I don't even need the money. I just want the experience.
No, that's all I want with it. I'm just having fun with it right now. All right. Yeah, well, let's get into the actual topics of today.
Let's get it.
I didn't read Joker. For those wondering, I'm in the middle of that move I mentioned pre-show. So I have not read a single book today. I literally was out of the house until like a half hour before we went live, and I ate a burrito and did a quick 3-minute bike ride, came back, jumped on here. So, the long box with Benny and Joel. If you can get Joel to reach out, we will do the long. Is that his show, the Long Box?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think so. He doesn't have a show called The Long. I think they were just pitching a show. I think they're just playing producer, just being like, it's called The Long Box. What? Okay, I guess I would watch that show.
Joel reaches out to talk about work.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go ahead. So basically, last week, Infinite Frontier had just started. We briefly spoke on it, I believe. So Dan, since you did these notes, what did you bring in here that needs to be rediscussed before I pull them all up? The Infinite Frontier, you put it back on the topics, but it technically came out last Tuesday, and I believe we talked about it.
So Infinite Frontier number 0 came out last week.
Yeah.
The first line of Infinite Frontier books came out this week with Batman/Gotham, Wonder Woman, and the Joker.
Okay, all right. I've had a very busy morning, so we're going to kind of base this off of your notes. So if anything I say is incorrect, guys, he's located at twitch.tv/Silu91, and you can go yell at him when he streams.
Perfect.
I'm going to have to read all these books afterwards, so Dan's about to spoil everything for me. All right.
Yeah.
He literally put spoiler. Thanks, Dan. The Flash mantle officially passes to Wally West in Infinite Frontier 0 as Barry joins the... I mean, we talked about... Wait, am I looking at last week's notes?
I think you might be looking at last week's notes.
Wait, what did I could have sworn I sent this to Sal this morning. Oh, no, you did.
I have it right here.
You sent it to Sal, so I have it from you because I wasn't in the house.
Right?
We're professionals here.
Cheers.
Hold on, let me find the notes for this week. I'm like, wait, this is literally, this is why I was questioning why you brought issue 0 again, because the notes I was looking at said issue 0.
I thought it was strange that you asked me that, considering everything was definitely brand new.
See, I'm looking at this and it's like Infinite Frontier number 0, and that's why I was like, it's on the list. Is there anything we really need to go over? And Sal was probably like, that's not the list I'm looking at.
Yeah, I'm like, I mean, no. Yeah, because I didn't read them, but I did recommend them, because Wonder Woman 770, I didn't read it, but I will buy it. Batman Urban Legends, I was so disappointed I didn't buy, but I literally just did right now. Joker number 1, I'm going to pass on that.
Well, I'm going to read it. I'm going to read it. We're going to have a discussion next week of Infinite Frontier week 1 and 2.
Okay.
So let's just go to okay, you know what? We're going to officially state it. Sal and I have been busy all morning. We didn't get to read week 1 of Infinite Frontier. No. So we're going to go to the other big topic that came out, all right? Yes. And I promise you, for all of you guys who are like, you guys are so busy. Yes, we literally are. We will talk about Infinite Frontier week 1 and 2 next week, okay? And if you want to hear Dan and Andy's opinions, they'll be reviewing it on Thursday right here on the Twitch channel. So, Sal, since we've had a comical opening here of us having a confusion, let's talk about this, because he put this in here, and I found out the full story on this. Scott Snyder's Justice League kind of leaked.
Zack Snyder's.
Zack Snyder's, that's it.
They wrote Scott, but it's Zack.
Yes, he did write Scott. Dan wrote even our notes are wrong.
I can't. Yeah, okay.
Let me explain. I'll explain the story, and then I want to get your opinions about it. So I actually found out about this not from these notes, from you tweeting about it. So somebody sent out a joke that I thought was a joke, and they said, "But go watch Tom and Jerry. When you do, it will then place Zack Snyder's Justice League." No, I thought that was a joke. Apparently, that's actually what happened. Tom and Jerry dropped, and if you went to go hit play for the first 2 hours, it would play Zack Snyder's Justice League instead. Can you imagine the kids that are like, Tom and Jerry?
You know what's really funny is that literally I was talking to Tiffany, and we were just sitting there with nothing to watch, and I was like, we should just watch Tom and Jerry. And she's like, no. Can you imagine? Because the thing is, people are talking about how it was only available for 2 hours. I don't think it shut off after 2 hours. I think it's just
I don't think it did either.
You couldn't access it, but there's got to be hundreds of people who saw the movie already.
Yeah, there's a lot of reviews that are not looking good at all.
I mean,
because I started going now. Bear in mind, this is only from Twitter. There's no Metacritic. There's nothing. But when I found out about this,
please.
I did a search for it on Twitter. And the general responses have been, it's subpar, it's not good, it's a CGI fest. Now, take that with a literal grain of salt. That is from a few people on Twitter. That is not.
That's people who meant to watch. These people who actively tried to watch Tom and Jerry.
Right. You're not wrong. They were.
Something that most of us didn't. Literally, they were like, we accidentally Trojan horsed Zack Snyder's Justice League in Tom and Jerry. Dozens disappointed.
Dozens. I want to see Tom and Jerry. Why? Did you know that? Why Tom and Jerry did better than Raya and the Last Dragon?
I know. You know why? It cost nothing to watch that. It cost $30 to watch.
No, it's in the theaters.
I've never heard of. Oh, in theaters?
The opening box office weekend of Tom and Jerry apparently was $14 million. And Raya and the Last Dragon is banned from Cinemark because of all the stuff Disney's doing, so it made $8 million.
Well, there you go. I mean, yeah.
How do you piss off the theaters? So, HBO is still good, and they're doing much worse than Disney. To go against theaters.
Yeah.
So the movie leaked. I don't Can you imagine how many people probably got fired for that?
Well, that's my question. Did they do it on purpose?
Okay. I was actually thinking this, and I wasn't going to say it, but I actually think they did. Because I am legit. Look, I'm excited for Zack Snyder's Justice League. I want to see the conclusion to his vision. I actually am. I have that hoodie I wear all the time.
Yes.
I was against it until they gave the okay. And everyone always goes, Benny, you were against it. No, I was against everyone yelling in my ear, release this article. I was against that. Okay?
Yeah.
I like Zack Snyder's work. I like his movies. I like Man of Steel. I liked Batman v Superman. You heard me. I like Batman v Superman. And I want Zack Snyder's Justice League. But I am sick and goddamn tired. I feel like I've watched the whole movie with the amount of things he's leaked.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well,
Like,
you have to
today
compete
was a
with
cyborg clip. I'm like,
you have to compete with the algorithm. If I look on the right-hand side of Twitter and I keep seeing these Marvel things, there better be another thing that says Wonder Woman or Batman or Cyborg or The Flash right next to it, hopefully above it. Because that's what they did. They released a clip of the movie. It's 4 hours, so it's okay because it's only like 30 seconds per clip. That showed
he's
you
shown
something.
so much of his stuff, and he also does it in that black and white grainy thing. Like,
I know. His
look,
filter.
I consider myself a photographer. I take very artistic photos, and when you're just doing these overly high contrast, black and white everything, it just seems so pretentious to me.
Oh yeah. Oh no. And the weird aspect ratio, so it looks like it's played on Instagram video. Like, what are you doing?
Well, like, I don't know. And this is literally just my opinion on it. I like that type of stuff. But why are you doing it for dark side? Like,
right.
I want to see like actual artistic photography. And while he's doing amazing work, I'm not saying it's not artistic. He's doing amazing work. The CGI looks really good. The contrast looks really, really good. Just show me freaking dark side. I don't need to see high contrast, artistic vision dark side.
Yeah, well, that's the only way you're going to see it. And unless you want to watch Tom and Jerry. You know.
I'm waiting for them to be like, Zack Snyder's Justice League is out. And next month will be Zack Snyder's black and white noir edition Justice League.
I mean, why not, right? Like, when you get the ultimate... Well, the thing is, I don't know. Like, do people even care about, like, special edition Blu-ray releases of movies? Or do they just want, like... Because here's the...
Andy buys the Blu-ray things.
I do too, and I'm so glad I do because... Like, there are some movies that I want to watch that are not on any streaming service, or if they are, you got to pay to rent them. And I'm like, I own it. Why would I do that?
Yeah. 80 does the exact same thing. He collects all the old movies. I remember I used to do that forever ago, and like, I'd say probably 2010 when we were moving out, like, between places in the military, I just dumped them. I'm just like... Because at that point, I had like some DVD, some Blu-ray, and I'm like, I got to make a choice. I have to collect comic books or movies, and so I'm going comics. I don't have room or money for all these options. Sorry.
No. I used to be very proud of my movie collection because it was just like on the wall and it was really like great looking. But like as you move or as you change medium, like it's like there's nothing. I can't keep moving all these boxes. So what I did was I bought a DJ CD case that holds 400 discs, and I compiled all of my Blu-rays into this DJ disc like set. So it's just a big, like with a handle and everything. So whenever I wanted to bring my movies anywhere, or if I just want to, they just go under a desk. They just, there they go.
Nice. That's a good idea. Yeah. I used to do that with video games. I used to collect video games too. And GameStop basically killed any collectible market of that one.
Yeah.
Like, because like a year later, it's like, here's all those 360 games you liked. They're 99 cents. Cool. Dan, I got Madden 09 to 2018.
Great. Wow, you can play. It's the same game 19 times. I mean, it is, right? I mean, it just looks a little better, maybe.
So, do you think that this was a legit stunt, though? Do you think that they were like, we want people to talk about Snyder Cut, and a leak is one hell of a way to get that out there?
Absolutely. Well, because it was clearly a coordinated effort to release clips on the same day and time that they released WandaVision episodes. They have a week.
Oh yeah, that one I agree with, because that they would be like, WandaVision, we're going to talk about some WandaVision. Oh, but guys, Dark Snyder in a weird aspect ratio in black and white.
Yeah. Oh, it's enough of you kids were tweeting about it, so it's there, it's trending. But like, yeah, I think so. So that because WandaVision ended, so there's a week gap between WandaVision and Falcon Winter Soldier, and they all know the news cycle is going to get dominated by that. So it's like, gotta get that week.
I mean, we already put out our Falcon Winter Soldier theories video.
I know, but there's no show.
Marvel and DC.
Yeah, right. But right now, at this point of the taping of the show, there is no engine existing to support it. Right? There's nothing coming out yet. So there's this week gap. Let's release the movie now. Yeah. As like a secret, and then get people talking about it for a good couple of days.
It comes out next Friday with not the one coming up, but the one afterwards with Falcon Winter Soldier, doesn't it? It's the same day.
Yeah, same day, 15th. Yeah.
Why wouldn't you compete the 17th?
I don't know.
Then you're already dominating the algorithm. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I know. Well, because nobody who works there pays attention to algorithms, except for unless we're right in that they deliberately coordinated the release to compete with it. But who knows? I suspect as much. Which, by the way, I don't like begrudge them. I think that's actually kind of like funny and brilliant. But yeah, I think so. I think you know what? That'll be the trick. See what happens with Kong and Godzilla.
Oh, dude, I am still so excited for that. Also, so I was at the comic book store yesterday.
Yeah.
When did we
Yesterday
go to
was
either way,
Tuesday.
The store near
Monday.
us that sells Magic cards. And we were talking about Ikora, which was the Godzilla expansion. Why did that come out a year ago and not now?
Right? I don't know. Well, I guess because they were just like, well, we have it ready and stores were open. We can't afford to wait anymore because it was probably supposed to come out a year ago.
It did come out a year ago. It came out in May of last year, which was a delay from last March. Was the movie supposed to come out that long ago?
Yeah.
They just didn't. Was it?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think it was supposed to come out this year. I think it was supposed to come out last year.
Okay, because that would make sense because Magic the Gathering, if you don't know, has an Ikora pack, which is all about kaijus.
Oh.
It was a lot of fun. And now I have a card table where we're going to be doing Texas Hold'em and playing Magic the Gathering and Final Fantasy the card game, battling the Chaos Boss. Side note, just throwing that out there for you guys to know. Also, since we're talking about personal things, Sal, I'm just going to give you this little tidbit. And if you guys want to hear the story, come back on Thursday right here at the Comic Story Podcast Network. On our personal game, Houston had sex with 3 trolls instead of fighting them.
Oh.
I could not stop it. He would not stop rolling well. Anyway, I'll tell you that story Thursday.
Nice. So you're saying he's a lover, not a fighter.
That's exactly how it went down.
Nice.
The only rule I had was we are not RPing any of this. I will let the dice decide the outcome.
Yeah. Right? Yeah, like, you succeed. Let's just
exactly. And it's done. Congratulations.
Yep. Pan to fireplace.
Okay, so Snyder Cut. It's finally coming out in a week and a half. Sal, I believe we should probably do something like the Sal and Benny 4-hour commentary track.
That means I have to watch it again?
No, we'll watch it together first time.
Oh, okay.
Come on. Can we do that? You can't tell me
maybe.
Tiffany's all excited and waiting for that.
She's not. But she's not, but she will. Like, we've been watching every comic property together. I mean, like, she may have to sit in. We'll see. It'll depend.
It'll be you, me, Tiffany, and Dan. We'll have a 4-hour watch-a-thon.
Right?
That'll be our track.
I don't know. I don't think anybody wants to hear me yelling at the screen or like getting up for like long extended periods of time.
All right, fine, like, you win. We'll figure something out.
You know what I mean? Because it's just
I'll
just be like, oh my god. Because you didn't hear me. Like you didn't. I don't think you sat next to me when we saw BVS, but I sat next to our friend who used to work for Valiant, and the two of us were just laughing constantly at that movie.
I know.
And it was just like, I'm sure it was insufferable for people who were excited to see that movie.
Yeah, thanks, guys, because I was sitting next to you as well. It was me, our friend, you. So
yeah, because here's the thing, I've seen Justice League. I know what this movie is. So
and the two of you opened up Batman v Superman by laughing at the pearls, and I'm like, well, I'm in for a treat.
No, we started laughing when Bruce Wayne was started ascending into heaven, like when he floated, when the bats encircled him and he floated off the ground like he was being abducted by aliens. That's when we started laughing.
The fact is, guys, I sat next to them for 2.5 hours, the Batman v Superman, as they laughed at it.
Yeah,
and I enjoyed it. So
right, I loved the suit though. I like Affleck. I think he's a great Batman. It's sad. Oh well.
All right, so moving on to our next topic of today, we have. Wow, where did I go? Where did the topics go? Okay, so we're not going to talk about the Infinite Frontier stuff today, but for those who are wondering, Joker 1 started, Urban Legends 1 started, and Wonder Woman 770 started. Yep. Dan has some notes here on them, but since we're going to talk about them more in length next week, I'll kind of move past these.
Yeah.
After being delayed, rewritten, and redrawn, Marvel's Children of the Atom #1 finally releases this week with the new characters being younger, slightly different versions of the X-Men. What is this? Do you know? Because you're the big X-Men guy.
So I thought that Children of the Atom was going to be a book that kind of like highlighted the Chimera program that they teased at in the Hawks and Pox series, where it's like, you remember in Powers of 10 where you're dealing with like not Nightcrawler in the far-flung future, like all these different characters, like Magneto, but he's got Polaris's colors on his armor and stuff. And it turns out like, no, these aren't like their offspring. These are like chimera clones of characters. Like they're all using Mr. Sinister's like DNA splicing technology to make hodgepodge mutants out of their powers. And I thought that Children of the Atom was going to be like an extension of that, a kind of exploration of that. But apparently it's something else, and I have no idea what this is supposed to be. But I can't believe it got redrawn. Like, I'm like, why? Because I think Children of the Atom was supposed to be part of Hickman's plan. Did he change his mind? Did Marvel screw him over? Like, what is the deal?
I don't know what Hickman's doing, man. You've got me on board. You won the battle, Sal. So now I'm just like you, like, so what's next?
Right. What are you doing next, man? Yeah.
I'm in, guys. I'm literally reading it and enjoying it. I just watched a Hickman interview where he talked about his plans for Wolverine. Like, you got me. I'm on board the X-Men train again. If I get disappointed, Sal.
Oh, I know.
I'm blaming you. I
promise
you.
The big event at the end, I think you're going to be like, all right, I got to admit that was pretty awesome. Whatever that event might be.
I even like Ten of Swords, so.
Mm-hmm. Well, then there you go. If you kind of like Ten of Swords, I think you're going to be fine.
Yeah. So
yeah,
okay,
I don't know.
You don't know anything about
it's cool.
this, though, huh? Yeah.
No, I assumed it was the Chimera program. I think it is. I think it secretly is. I think the idea is they're like, look at these young X-Men. Woohoo! Actually, Mr. Sinister made these people as an extension of his like nefarious gene splicing program that he's always wanted to do. And it's like, oh, cool. Like, I think that's going to be it's going to be like a Thunderbolts kind of reveal where it's like, wow, look at these new characters that are they're bad guys. Like, I think this is going to be like, wow, look at these new mutants. Oh, wait, they're all just like they're fake clone characters. Which sounds neat. Like, I don't know.
It's on par for X-Men.
Right? There's like a young female black Gambit who uses bobby pins.
Time-traveling alternate reality versions that have come back into... No? Okay.
We had that already, and it was super lame.
Look, for the record, I liked that concept and idea. It's just, it needed to end when it was supposed to end.
Oh, I'm talking about the alternate reality future X-Men that come back in time during that run.
Oh, yeah, the weird Deadpool and stuff like that came back during that?
And like the not Charles Xavier young guy and the
I think Phantom X was on that team.
I don't remember. Yeah, maybe.
I liked the idea of those young X-Men coming forward in time and messing with the timeline. And you're right. And then in their future, here's the other people. And it's like,
and I'm like, what is this? No
that
more.
That story should have ended, I think, at volume 3 or 4. Like, it should.
Yeah.
It was the problem is it was the only thing selling for X-Men at the time. So they were like,
right.
What if we just keep them? Like, that's not how it's not how time travel is supposed to work, Marvel.
No. Yeah. But I didn't know that this book, to wrap up my thoughts on it at least, I didn't know this book was rife with this much like issue. Like, I didn't realize there was so much like work that went into this series that nobody cares about.
Yeah.
Like, I don't hear anybody talking about it.
I've only heard about it in passing. It is probably because I wasn't tracking X-Men too closely until more recently. Yes. But
yeah,
it'll be interesting. Mm-hmm. Moving on, we got Spider-Gwen is Marvel's Batgirl in Heroes Reborn, known as Night Gwen. Why would she call herself Night Gwen?
Well, I think they're calling her Night Gwen because they just put her name in there. I'm sure she's Nighthawk or something. But Nightbird. She's Nightbird.
Okay, that makes far more sense than Night Gwen. I'm on board with this because, look, I'm a huge fan of DC. That's not a lie, but I've also been a fan of Marvel forever. But there are elements. I do feel like there's one element of Marvel that's really missing in DC, and that would be like the Spider-Man type character, the down-to-earth, everybody kind of everyday Joe kind of character. Yeah. DC has more characters that are missing on the Marvel pantheon. Like, they don't have a traditional Wonder Woman style character. They've tried multiple times. It never works to that level. The Wonder Woman.
No, Marvel has no Wonder Woman.
Yeah. And they don't have anything like the Bat family, where there's like that central character and it sprawls outward, which of course then means they have nothing like Nightwing. The closest thing they have to Red Hood would be a Winter Soldier, but he's not a part of anything really.
I think they think Spider-Man is that, and it's like, No.
It's
That Spider family is an aberration. It is a mistake.
The Spider family is weird because they're only there when somebody remembers they exist. They all have their own books. Like, I love Spider-Gwen and I love Miles and I love what they're all doing with these books. But Peter always forgets they exist. Like,
right. Well, except for when they play like random major focal points, like in Spencer's last event, where it was like, why are they even here? This is about Peter. Who cares?
Sins Rising made no sense. Like, yeah, we're gonna stop Peter Parker, and then the next issue was like, no, we just thought you were gonna die. Bye. Like what?
Yeah. Go away.
But no, they've never had anything close. Like, without a Wonder Woman, they've also never had like a Batgirl. I see the closest they ever got was Black Widow, but her popularity outside of the movies is like non-existent.
Yeah.
And then the new run's great. She's got, just like Captain Marvel had some good runs, but they've never hit. You never think of Black Widow on the level you do with Batgirl. Batgirl and Barbara is in movies, TV shows, comics, and yes, I know. So is Black Widow. But it's not in the same level. Like,
no.
I don't know. I don't know how to really describe it, but she's just not on that tier of popularity.
I think it's got to be the costume. I think ultimately, like, Batgirl is just a more striking image. But I never really compared Batgirl and Black Widow together. But Black Widow, I think, suffers from her being, like, her shtick is she's a spy character. If you don't like spy movies, you're not going to really dig on Black Widow. Like, it's just,
and she doesn't have any
niche.
crazy gadgets like Bat gadgets.
And even if it is, like, the gadgets are like zappies, like, you know, or spy gadgets. She can zap you. Yeah. Like, you know, but not.
So when we discuss Black Widow next week, because we're going to now, I just want you to be like, so she took the zappies and she's
got the zappies. But yeah, no, but this whole Night Gwen thing, it's just because of the Heroes Reborn story arc where I guess the idea is the Avengers never existed, and so as a result, the Marvel Universe like reacts to that, and so it's like,
well, and they made their own Justice League, basically, is what it boils down to.
The Squadron Supreme basically step up where the Avengers aren't, and so as a result, like, Marvel is showing you what the Marvel Universe would be if it was more like DC, which I think is like a fun premise, but also like I'm not reading
wish they
Avengers.
Would just say it, like they're not saying it, which I think is the most annoying part. Like,
they're trying hard not to because they're just like, well, yeah, we are doing everything but saying, what if Marvel was DC?
Yeah.
Which I don't know. I never asked. But yeah, I'm reading. I read the latest issue of Avengers because I saw it was on the top 10 seller list, and I was like, wow, yep, it's still awful. So I don't know if any like this is exciting. This idea is exciting, but like, I don't care about what's happening in Avengers. Like, wait until Aaron's off it.
I kind of like Avengers. I do. I don't like that it's taken the Brian Michael Bendis approach where it seems to be ignoring everything around it. I also don't like, and the big problem I have with the current Avengers run is that it's not just about the Avengers. It's about the Avengers. You know what I mean? Like, they're recruiting a new person for every arc. Like, just why can't I just have a core team that is doing something? That's what I want. You can bring in one or two guest people, but they're really not doing like the core team the way that I want it. I've got Sean writing up the scripts to do all of these as we're going, because we're eventually gonna have to knock them all out. Yeah. But I'm not excited to hit them. That's the problem. Like, it's just
I can't.
It started out great, and then they're like, now we have an evil Avengers, and now we have Squadron Supreme, and now we have Namor, and now we have the Dark Avengers, and now we have the Savage Avengers, and now we have
the Phoenix
and we
Avengers,
have Moon Knight, and we have Ghost Rider is gonna race Johnny Blaze in the Avengers while Johnny Blaze is doing a Ghost Rider book. Like, what?
Yeah. No, I just don't care. I'm just doing whatever I want, and it's like, okay, good for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's not terrible, but I don't know. I don't like how it's completely ignoring everything.
Well, guess what? Everyone else now has to ignore what they're doing because now here's this. Like, because this Heroes Reborn thing is like an event, but I don't see a titular book. I think it's just like coming out of the pages of Avengers, all this stuff, which is a great idea, and I think it's really cool. But A, I hate Avengers. B, I'm not reading it. C, it will be wrapped up in Avengers. D, how do I track this stuff? Like, where's the checklist? Where's the
At first,
reading
I thought
order?
Heroes Reborn is just like a mini series, but it doesn't.
Me too.
They're pushing it out to not be a mini series. Like, Night Gwen shouldn't be a thing if this is a mini series.
Right, but it is. It's or not. I don't know. I know that like Miles is going to be Falcon in a book called Young Squadron, but Miles isn't getting his own book. It's just that there's going to be a Young Avengers team that's modeled after the Squadron Supreme. Okay. Right. I don't know.
It'll be interesting to see what they do. I'm excited for the idea. I am going to finally just catch up on Avengers and call it good.
I guess I should too.
Yeah. I mean, it's not, I don't think it's terrible. I've read a lot worse books than this. It's just, I feel like it would work if it was just its own separate entity, but you're constantly reminded of the rest of the Marvel Universe. Like, it's not even being involved in King in Black. I don't think the Avengers had a book tied in.
Nope, but Daredevil sure did. Like,
yeah,
thanks.
Like, it's so weird the way they're handling it. It's almost like it reminds me of back when DC Rebirth started. Remember the Justice League book by Brian Hitch? That was like, it was its own thing. Yeah, and everyone's like, wait, Flash has Iris in his book, but he's dating Jessica Cruz in the Justice. That was the biggest one that everyone always pointed to. Like, what is that? Like,
yeah, they're like, we wanted to keep Brian Hitch, we didn't want him to leave, so we gave him this book.
And that's what it looks like to me. It looks like Jason Aaron. I want to do the Avengers, and I want to do whatever the hell I want with the Avengers.
Yep.
And Marvel was like, okay, fine, we'll just ignore you, you ignore us, and we're gonna do our own thing. And it just becomes more and more obvious when you have things like a Ghost Rider book coming out that Johnny's talking to Robbie in that book. You know, when you have a King in Black event happening and it's not being talked about in the Avengers. Like,
they're fighting the Phoenix? What? Like,
right, yeah. Like, but the X-Men are completely oblivious to this on Krakoa.
Oh, and wouldn't you know it, in the last issue of King in Black, they are clearly setting up in that issue. Like, they clearly want you to think, oh my God, the Phoenix is the secret light symbiote that's going to battle Null. And then they're like, nope, it's Captain Universe. But they want you to think it's the Phoenix because they made Gwen talk to Eddie. And so it's like, or whoever. And it's like,
Jean did it.
You had Jean doing it. And it's like, well, clearly they want you to think Phoenix. But if you're reading Avengers, you're like, well, it's not. The Phoenix is the Avengers right now. They're all fighting each other to pick who's going to be the Phoenix. Like, you can't. Yeah. Like, Donny Cates is playing ball better than Jason Aaron, and Aaron's been here longer. What are you doing? It's weird.
It is weird. It is weird in general. And we'll both catch up and give you guys our opinion on Avengers eventually.
When we read it.
All right, next up we got Keanu Reeves. I don't even know how you pronounce this, but I'm just going to say Berserker. Book releases as a big success. Berserker is essentially combining Vandal Savage and Wolverine being played by Keanu Reeves, the regenerating immortal from the dawn of time who works in the military towards the goal of becoming mortal. It sold over 600,000 copies, and it's planned to be a 12-issue miniseries. The book itself, I found... It was passable. It's a good book, but it's not a new concept. What I think generally this shows, Sal, is I think this needs to be an awakening for DC and Marvel. This needs to be an awakening for indie books and everything else, because you can sell your book if you get on board.
Right.
Like, so many times do all these companies come forward and be like, yeah, the comic book market is going down, and I've said for the years we've been doing this, they need to adapt to the current market. Social media pushes. They need to adapt. They need to get a better plan in place. They need to start utilizing tools that exist. And they constantly go back, nope, we have a print model with Diamond that has worked for years.
Yeah.
Until it doesn't. Until a pandemic happens. Like,
right. Or the next thing. Like, people use the pandemic forever, but like, there's all, like, before the pandemic, everybody was talking about the sky is falling, the comic book industry's dying. And it's like, and I was hearing it internally, and I'm like, it is not, but like, if you think it is, it's going to, and then the pandemic comes, so it's like, you're gonna still have the same problems that you've had before the big one.
Yeah.
And the next big one's coming too. Like, no.
So,
and there's gonna be a drop off. Berserker, like 600,000 copies, that's nice. It'll drop down to like 50,000 by issue 4. You know, like, it's gonna drop.
I agree with you on that one. It'll probably fall to more reasonable numbers, but I think this does show there is a market if you know how to get it out there. I think that's, like, I guarantee you could stick around 600,000 copies if Keanu Reeves just stayed on top of it. Because the name Keanu Reeves being attached definitely is what helping sell this, you know, but he's also promoting it. And if you could just get him on board for all 12, you could keep high numbers.
Yeah, the thing is, I think Berserker is doing a lot of things right, and it's also shameless in its efforts, right? Because like Berserker
it looks
is
like Keanu Reeves on the cover.
Clearly, this was, we need money to make this movie. And apparently, my guess is Keanu Reeves wanted more creative control, and they're like, well, even though you're obviously a name and you're a high commodity, and we should just give you producer credit, we need some kind of proof of concept. And so he's like, how about a critically acclaimed book that has a ton of like great sales behind it? So because that's what they respond to. And it's like, well, this book sells 600,000 copies, and that's a comic book, and those things are bullshit. So I think we'll all agree that my movie's going to be huge. Like, that's all he needs to say. And then they're like, okay, here's your money. And then he gets to have more creative control, and he gets to make his movie. But it's just kind of like, don't use my industry to help yourself make a movie, you jackass.
No, I think this is good, because I think this has a lot of, this shows indie books. If an indie book can sell 600,000 copies with the proper backing and promotion and people going in on it, this means, dude, our Batmans, our Spider-Mans, our Wolverines could sell like gangbusters if they would just start adapting to the current times. This is good. I get what you're saying. He's using our industry that we love and we are part of, and we're fighting for, to promote his property, to get his movie out there. And I agree. But I think the adverse effect of this is going to be, hopefully somebody in this industry goes, maybe we should rethink a few things.
Oh, I agree with you. I think that like the star power behind these books, like, I mean, Keanu Reeves made a horrible video, and you may have seen it, where he looks like a hostage, where he just tries to, where he's selling the book, where he's like, man, and he's reading this obvious script, and it's just like so shameless, and he clearly only did one take, but like, he made a video that went out that sold a Boom Studios comic book, and it has 600,000 sales. Like, no, like, you know, nowadays we see, like, we have Elizabeth Olsen holding a WandaVision, like a WandaVision comic book, and it's like, oh, that's cute. But like, we don't see any MCU actors being like, yo. Like, you don't see Anthony Mackie being like, watch Falcon and Winter Soldier, and hey, listen, all new Captain America written by Rick Remender is really freaking dope.
I mean, they're not even trying to push out, like, you know, you didn't see Elizabeth Olsen being like, and I highly recommend House of M.
She did. She didn't say it like that, but she was in an interview, she was like asked, what book do you think that you would like to be in? And she was like, I'd love to see an adaptation of House of M, but they're never going to do that.
But that was forever ago. I'm talking like now that it's
that was
out.
Forever ago.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's what I'd love to see. I'd love to see Robert Pattinson come out and be like, yeah, I'm the new Batman, and if you want more noir style Batman, I got all my research from these books. Or here's a new one coming out by insert writer, guys, you should check it out. Like, there's no cross promotion in these industries.
No, and it's frustrating because like it's logical for them to do it, but there's so many egos and so much money involved. Not even money to that's spent to get them to do it. It's more just like, I'm in this industry, you're in that industry. I have a resentment for you. I have a disregard for you. And it's like it's like watching like Jeff Loeb and Kevin Feige not work together for TV and movies, and they work for the same friggin' boss. It's like, you're crazy, but at the same time, like trying to get like, but logically speaking, like these actors, these producers, these people in this larger industry, undisputedly larger industry with more money and more people and more eyes, they sit in a chair. They're doing interviews constantly. Like, literally, they're like, okay, we just shot, like, your scene, Rob, for Batman. You did a great job. Sit in this director's chair, and we're going to put a camera on you for the next 4 hours, where people are going to come in and interview you and ask you inane bullshit questions. Fair enough. That's what they do. It's part of the job. And someone from AT&T, Warner Brothers, DC Comics comes in and goes, and for 2 minutes, I will be in that line, and I will ask you to recommend the books on this list you're going to commit to memory.
Yeah.
That's all he needs to, like, literally, hey, man, you know, like, Batman's one of the coolest characters. I feel honored to play him. One of the books that I read that I loved was Long Halloween. Year One's pretty dope. You know, like, just books that are written by people who haven't written, like, more than 13 consecutive issues of Batman ever in their lives, but are awesome and are available for sale right now. Marvel's problem, of course, is if they were like, yo, like, if Anthony Mackie was like, man, I love All New Captain. Remender really nailed Falcon's voice, and I want it. Like, I love doing that. Like, I read that book in my voice, and I really enjoy it. Unfortunately, Marvel is not printing it right now, so you can't buy it like in the direct market.
Are they really not printing it?
I'm just saying Marvel doesn't print anything because Marvel doesn't want a backlog of books.
Oh, yeah,
because it costs too much to have books unsold. Well, DC manages with thousands of unsold copies of Watchmen sitting in a warehouse to keep it in print, and they don't miss a penny.
Well,
so
don't they also
please,
keep it in print in general just so they don't lose the rights?
just so they don't lose the rights. Yeah. But it sells too. Like, it's not just like no one's tripping over copies of Watchmen; they're being sold. Like,
I do Psycho Red in our Twitch chat because we do this live on Twitch every Tuesday. Says that Boom, and I forgot Boom did this before when they got Jason David Frank to do Shattered Grid stuff. So yeah, that promoted Shattered Grid like crazy, and I love that series. You still need to read it, Sal.
I do, but I do remember when it came out, and I do remember Jason David Frank doing it.
Guys, I just figured out how to make Sal finally read it. I'm gonna send it to him for back issues.
We did Just Like Power Rangers. It did real bad, so I don't know. We'll see. I mean, like, that'd be cool.
Like, I can't promise shit. So
well, I won't, but like, I will read it, and if it's awesome, I will do it. It's just like I don't want to have like a back issue with 14,000 views. That would suck.
All right, I'm gonna send a copy to you. We'll start there.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
Okay.
I hear good things. I mean, like,
that's incredible. I know Joel wouldn't shut up about it for months.
He would not.
And then I jumped on board, and no, I won't shut up about it.
That's right. Well, it's Power Rangers, Yeah, it's cool. But Berserker, it's obviously a movie pitch, but you're absolutely right. It's ultimately a rising tide raises all ships, right? Like, if there's 600,000 copies being sold for Boom freaking Studios, why not?
I mean, Boom's doing well now. They got some pretty good licenses they're rolling out.
I
think Boom's doing a great job of using established licenses, but they're also doing a great job of keeping their indie market rolling.
Boom is becoming like a new image in terms of releasing like innovative new like independent releases that are hitting the zeitgeist.
Boom is actually, and I mean, for the record, Boom's one of the few companies that even though I've tried to reach out to, they don't even want to talk to me. And I love their books, so I read a lot of their stuff.
No, I've talked to them too.
You hear that, Boom?
Right? Come on. We've only talked to them to get interviews with creators, which of course nobody watches, but it's still cool.
Well, they watch on the podcast channel. I love the fact that we can finally do them when they have a home.
That's true. That's true.
And thank you, for people who watch those interviews. Thank you guys so much. I love getting those tweets where you're like, "I watched this, and you guys talked about this, and that was great." And I'm like, "Finally, these have a home, and somebody wants to see them."
Speaking of which, we talked to Joshua Williamson recently, and that's up on the channel, and you can watch that. It's a lot of fun. He drops a lot of stuff about Infinite Frontier because I think he's the architect.
Yeah, I think he is too. All right, so next one is a rumor Dan put on here, which I'm kind of digging, but that Marvel and Sony are both planning to continue with Spider-Man, splitting the franchise into two, one following Peter Parker and the other Miles Morales. While it's still a rumor, is it really far-fetched with DC doing two separate Batman franchises? This is a rumor that we've been pushing forever now because their Into the Spider-Verse movie did so well, and Disney doesn't want to lose Tom Holland. I have said, and if it happens, I'm going on record. I was the one that said it. I feel like this new movie is going to separate the universe so that Sony has theirs, but we're keeping Tom Holland over here. That's the point of this multiversal adventure. What do you think, Sal?
I hope so. I love the idea that that Sony and Disney have figured it out. Like, because the reality is now you do have two Spider-Men, and he can be in two places at once, where it's like you can have Miles fight Venom and have it be cool. You can have a Marvel Disney Venom that no one's going to argue with. You could do anything and people will enjoy it, and I think they'll be able to figure out the difference. If it leads to more like true Peter Parker Spider-Man stuff in the MCU, if it allows for Sony to do whatever the hell they're trying to do with this franchise, but also not be weird and like wreck other things as a result, because it's like, they started with the Sinister Six because they didn't know what to do. They're like, okay, well, Spider-Man movies don't make as much money as they used to, but what if about Spider-Man ancillary projects? Like, what about Silver Sable and Black Cat teaming up? Like, just use Miles and his pantheon of characters and supporting cast. He works. He's the only Spider-Man to win an Oscar. I don't remember, but like he's got one. He's great. He's a fun character. And here's the thing. I'll gleefully go see both those movies. Like, I'll go see a Sony Miles Morales movie, and I'll go see a Disney Spider-Man movie, like Peter Parker Spider-Man movie. And I'll watch both of them. I'll spend both, spend ticket price on both those franchises. As long as we get Peter Parker on one end and Miles Morales on the other. Like, that's fine with me.
Yeah.
Go for it. Do it. Please.
I'd love to see them do this just so we can stop having the will he or won't he situation. I just want Spider-Man to make out with the Marvel Universe. I don't want him. I want to hold him in one hand and like Iron Man, then go now kiss and just make them make out. I want this to be a thing. Just because I love Miles as a character. I love Spider-Man as a character. I really want Miles. I also feel that if he is able to be Sony's Spider-Man, he will finally be able to grow past, he's just the Black Spider-Man. You know what I mean? Like,
no,
give him a
he's
spotlight
Spider-Man.
area, and he's got all the Spider-Man characters.
Well, and also, like, we don't have to, like, wonder, because, at Disney, Tom's younger. He could be Spider-Man for a while. He could do you could really explore like a lot of things without rushing to replace him with Miles. You could set up Miles. He's a kid. He's a child. Because Donald Glover's Prowler and stuff. But like, you don't need to do like, okay, we got the 4 Spider-Man movies. Now let's move on to Miles. Like, no, let Sony explore Miles. Yeah. Have them do like all the Miles stuff because they got like endless potential. They got endless stories with him. They have hundreds of issues now of Miles and his adventures. There was quite a bit in the Ultimate Universe before he was, when the Ultimate Universe was kind of uninteresting at that point and didn't have as much connectivity. Like, Miles did not interact with much besides like Fury in that world. So it was like, go for it. Like, tell
if they
stories.
could do this, I feel we could finally move beyond Spider-Man and Black Spider-Man, and it could just be Peter or Miles whenever someone says Spider-Man. Hey, there's new Spider-Man movies coming out. Oh, is it Peter or Miles?
Yeah.
Because
Peter Miles.
Right now, we're still in that world of like the Miles Morales video game being like, it's the new Spider-Man game. Oh, is it the black kid?
Right.
Yes, it's the black kid. Like, damn it.
Yeah.
He has
Peter
a
Miles.
name.
Yeah. But here's the thing. For me, it's like it was Peter and Miles. Like, I like both of them. And I think the thing is, Sony has found out, and maybe they were testing the waters with the video game, and they were like, video game did good. Okay, let's make the deal with Disney. Where it's like, you can just, like, Miles can support his own franchise.
Yeah. All right, so the next topic we have, okay, maybe you can answer me this first. Because Dan put on here that Charles Murphy has supposedly leaked out the release dates. Who is Charles Murphy? Because whenever I see Charles Murphy come up in one of these topics, I think the guy from Chappelle's Show. Okay,
yeah, it's Eddie Murphy's brother. He knew Rick James. He's great.
But he's not the guy with 21,000 Twitter followers leaking Marvel stuff, right?
Yeah, I don't know who that is. I've never heard of Charles Murphy before this. I don't.
He runs something called Murphy's Multiverse, where when I click his name, it's the founder of Murphy's Multiverse, co-host of Murphy's Law Patreon. I'm assuming that's a podcast.
You know what? I think if I've ever heard of it, I think I heard of it in terms of people asking me what my opinions are on rumors he's made up. You know what I mean? Like, where they go, well, Murphy says,
accurate?
And I'm like,
is he like a valid person to follow? I don't know who this is.
The chat will say he is. I have no evidence to support
that. To make this even more confusing, he's followed by Aftershock Comics, Comics Explained, Tim Geddes, and who else? Rich Johnson. What?
Well, that makes sense.
How does it make sense?
Yeah. For me, he's only followed by 2 or 3 people, including Comics Explained. I don't know who this guy is. But
I've heard his name come up a lot. I've heard it, and every time I've heard it up, I always think Eddie Murphy's brother is.
Eddie Murphy's brother is
leaking MCU stuff.
I mean, he's got to make a living, I guess. I don't know. I mean, like. Maybe he got a couple of things right once, and so he parlayed a career out of it, or a name that neither of us know.
Yeah, I know.
But people have referenced him a couple of times before, and I'm like, who is this?
Well, so what he's leaked this time, I don't know how much credence this has because I've never tracked if his rumors were accurate or not. Like, there's certain ones that you can kind of follow. You're like, okay, they're normally accurate somehow. I want to know who has, because a lot of the guys who do those leaks, they have connections like across the board. Like I have a Warner Brothers guy and a Disney guy, and I'm always like, how did you meet all the guys that are gonna leak shit to you? How did that happen? What party did I miss where you got on the email list of the leakers?
I suspect that's bullshit. Like, I suspect that anyone who says like, yeah, I got a guy on the inside is like, yeah, I'm just making it up. I don't really have anybody on the inside. I'm just saying things and then like forcing, like if I hit the trend fast enough and hard enough, then it will catch like fire, become viral, and then the studio will have to confirm or deny what I just said. And if I do that a couple of times, and I statistically like have better results than the other guy, then I'm the new leaker.
I guess, and maybe that's it. Maybe they're just throwing it against the walls. But what he leaked this time is supposedly Marvel Studios, and I love how he's got on here, subject to change.
What a shock.
Yeah, the release dates of the movies, which gives us that the new Ant-Man will come out on 2023, Guardians Volume 3 will be 2023, Fantastic Four will be 2023, and Deadpool 3 will be 2023. So February, May, July, November. That sounds viable because none of those are in the we're already working on them phase.
Nope.
So, I mean, I don't know what else to really say about this. I don't even know how accurate this is. I honest to God don't know who this guy is, but I have heard his name before. The problem with Sal and I in our form of it, and you guys will learn this if you ever get involved in this, there's like circles within like podcasts and YouTube and stuff like that, and you kind of get into your own circle, and then everyone outside doesn't talk to you, so you just hear through the same rumors as everyone else. And then you just don't know who half the people are anymore because like new people come in and like, what's that superhero Hollywood or whatever? He came out of nowhere and just... Yeah, I forget what his name is. Something Hollywood.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah.
He's the same kind of thing.
Yeah. Heroic Hollywood?
Oh, yeah, apparently Tyler from Heroic Hollywood, that was it. I remember he kind of came out of nowhere with leaks everywhere, and I'm like, who is this guy?
Right?
Tyler from Comic Story says, Benny, you don't clickbait enough to get the invite to the leaker parties. So that's the trick. We got a clickbait order.
Yeah, we got a clickbait. We got to leak more. I don't know. I mean, like Ant-Man 3, Guardians, Fantastic Four, Deadpool 3, all of those except for Fantastic Four have been like literally named. Like they said, we're working on Ant-Man 3, we got a name. Guardians of the Galaxy 3, obviously James Gunn has a script. Like Deadpool 3, they confirmed that they confirmed that it would be R-rated, so like we know that's in development. In terms of in development is as much as you can say, because like there's probably no office or script, but it's in development in terms of we said it is going to happen. The only one that's kind of exciting or new is any acknowledgement of Fantastic Four outside of them showing you a logo at the trade show.
Yeah. You know, I will agree with this. Hippie Exterminator says there's a lot of these insiders on Twitter nowadays. There really is, because they just throw stuff at a wall. What I don't understand about the insider thing, and this is I'm throwing it out there. Most of these insider Twitter, Instagram accounts that we come across, right?
Yes.
They don't seemingly have, like, this guy has a podcast at least, but they don't seemingly have a YouTube channel or a podcast or any way to parlay, and they just constantly leak things with nowhere for it to go. I don't understand the business model of this.
That's I knew that was going to be your angle, where you're like, what is the end game for you? Like, if you're just like, hey, I have advanced knowledge about the like point for point plot of Spider-Man 3, and it's like, and I'll tell you what it is. Cool. What's in it for you?
Exactly.
Besides like bragging rights. Like, who cares?
You know me. 90%, and I don't deny this. 90% of what we do is because we have created a business model out of it. I look at everything from a business mindset.
Yeah,
I look
but
at
it's a dope business. Mindset. It's like, why wouldn't I do that? Like, I'm not an idiot. Exactly. I'm not gonna like.
I don't deny that I do this for fun, and we would probably still do this on a much smaller scale if it wasn't a business model. But I don't understand the end game of these Twitter leakers. Like, what do you? At least this guy has a podcast, so that might lead to something. Like he's got, I got advertisers, and people are getting on board because I'm leaking all these things. But I've seen so many of these that don't have that.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. Like, I don't know what the end game is, because here's the thing. Like, let's say that you have a guy right on the inside at Disney and Warner Brothers, and they're feeding you information, which, by the way, has been a thing forever. If you ever watch the Radioactive Man episode of The Simpsons, there's a joke / plot point in there where even then they had leakers for superhero movies, and that episode is probably like 30 years old by this point. But like, seriously, if you have a person on the inside, you know, like we've had people on the inside who have been like, hey, heads up, this is going to be the new event for DC or Marvel, and it's like, what did we do with that information? Usually nothing. Like what we did,
a video.
We prepped videos. That's all we did was prepare to cover our own asses. Yeah. And even then, and sometimes it didn't happen because the winds changed or somebody got fired or they had to delay something and we were caught in the wind going hey, what the hell? But we certainly didn't go ladies and gentlemen, I have it on good authority that this is going to happen. Wink. All that does is shine a light on the leaker because they all know who is going to, because they're if they find out, right? Let's say Warner Brothers or Disney finds out that their information got leaked and they find out where it got leaked. I'm you're my channel, right? They find the source. Oh my God. So this Know Nothing channel named Comic Pop just leaked a big thing about Spider-Man. They're gonna look at it for a second, be oh, my employee has been on their shows. You know what I mean? It's gonna get back.
He's in their DMs.
Yeah, he's in their DMs. I know who leaked it. You're at best case scenario is, I got on top of a trend and hopefully got more eyes on my channel. Worst case scenario is I get blacklisted from that studio for having screwed around with their bottom line.
Yeah.
And my friend gets fired. It just seems
funny.
Too dicey for me.
I also find it hilarious that if you just make an image, everyone believes it. Remember how many times Rob would make those weird posters?
Yes.
So he could tweet out that he had a leak, and everyone ate it up.
I know. I think people, somebody mentioned something the other day on, I don't remember what format, but they mentioned that the entire discourse on movies and comics and in entertainment media in general has completely shifted from enjoying a thing to solving it like you're a detective. And it's dude, it's a movie. I should never see a Knives Out explained YouTube video. Who needs Knives Out explained to me? It's a goddamn movie about a murder mystery.
I do love.
Watch it.
I do love. I've done that before. Natalie and I just watch a very general movie,
right?
And I'll Google something about one of the actors, or whatever, and the first thing that comes up, the ending to such and such, explain, and I'm ooh, this might have a really tricky ending, Natalie, because they needed to explain it, and then it ended. I'm I get it.
It just ended like a narrative. Perry Mason explained. The Hardy Boys explained. You don't need to explain that. I'm not an idiot. I watched it. I read it. I understand it. It's not hard to penetrate, but it's not about explaining it. That's the thing, is that it's not hard to understand. It's that people don't want to be surprised anymore.
Yeah.
They want to,
and we can probably have a whole episode on this, but the whole problem with WandaVision, it got so heavy on the theories that when it finally resolved, the amount of people that, and we'll talk about this in a second in our actual WandaVision discussion, but the amount of people that are upset because it didn't reveal the theories that they wanted it to go with. You guys made all these crazy theories. The worst thing that the actors did was Paul Bettany said, there's a crazy another actor in the last episode. Was a fun to work with guy.
Yeah, and then he was oh, I'm really pissing people off. And I'm yeah, you're married to Jennifer Connelly. You don't care about anything. You're I get it. But
we'll talk about WandaVision in a second in our next segment.
We'll talk about
that. Up in Absolutely Marvel and DC. We're not putting it on the normal Absolute Comics show. Let's go ahead and wrap this up here, Sal.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
So thank you guys so much for watching Absolute Comics this week. It airs live on twitch.tv/comicstorian every Tuesday at about 5 p.m. Eastern. We talk about all the latest news, information, just kind of a big fun podcast. It gets uploaded to YouTube 1 week later. In between those times, you can support us by going to GPhil using the code COMICS at checkout, or going to patreon.com/comicpop or patreon.com/comicstorian, getting early access, unedited access to these podcasts, supporting the show, keeping it moving. I'm trying to think.
Okay, all right.
And if you want to see our opinions on TV shows and movies, please consider checking out our channel, Absolutely Marvel and DC, where you'll find our discussions about WandaVision Episode 9 and the whole hoopla of the fandom ruining it. And if you want to support me directly, please consider going and picking up Bloodshot issue number 12. I wrote the 5-page backup in that book and would love to get another writing gig. I need you to buy the book. Thank you. I'm not even going to try to play, man.
No, that's what it is.
Buy the book. I want jobs. Anyway, I like eating bacon, and I gotta pay for bacon, but I can't get the cheap bacon. I don't get like the Black Label bacon. I gotta get like Berkshire pork bacon shipped in from Berkshire pork. Any cooking foodies will know what Berkshire pork is, and I'm saying it wrong, but you get what I'm going for with this. Yeah.
I'm picking up what you're putting down, yeah.
I like pricey bacon.
Damn right.
And for the record, I did test that bacon, and it tastes like other bacon. It tastes like Black Label bacon. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for your continued support. This show has officially been going on for over a year, and it only has because you guys have been enjoying it. What started out as it's not the weekly poll, it's Absolute Comics, has to literally just become Absolute Comics and absolutely Marvel and DC. And Sal and I have a blast doing the show, interacting with you guys. And while we do get busy at times and we do have a lot of things on our plates, we do love doing this show. And thank you guys for making this show exist. Without you, it wouldn't. So thank you. I don't know if you want to say thank you, Sal.
Thank you. Yeah, no, you said it perfectly. How succinct. But yeah, I'm lucky to do it. I'm very happy to have you guys. Thank you so much.
And I will agree with that. Hippie Exterminator says we need to get that Black Label pork sponsor. All right, see you guys next time.